Let me tell you what's good. What is good? Is good the continuance, the growth and continued growth of life and children and family? Is good dreams accomplished, wishes achieved? What is good? What is good to you? What good things have happened in your life? Is it of the share, where you share with another like a good cooked meal? When you cook a meal and you share it with your family, is that a good thing you do? What is good? What are the good things in this world? Are the dreams that we go after to accomplish a good thing? Sometimes. Unless that dream is lost to what? To others. Because that's not good. Because they lost there. All those others lost because of your good. So you weren't doing good, were you? But what is the greatest of the false goodest? What is the greatest things in the world that claim to benefit creation and its continuance, the share of a good meal, and the children sitting around to eat them? What is among the greatest of these influences in our world that you would consider a false good? A false good because they created loss of people's dreams. Or they created loss of the dreamers. Or they created loss of the plants and fruits and the animals that benefit us in this world. Or created loss of our lives. They're like war. Wars of loss are definitely not good. Wars where you go in to take control over another and take away the choices of that nation. Though change at times is necessary. Wars of loss are not good, though, because what is loss for you and for others? But to be aggressive, to strike out in life, to be aggressive towards what you dream in life when it's not of loss to others, is that a good thing or a bad thing? What would you weigh that at? When you go out in your life and you go after your dreams, what would you weigh it at? A good thing or a bad thing? A good thing or a bad thing? When you go after your dreams, are you causing loss to other people's dreams? To other people's property or personal belongings? Other people's achievements? Other people's work? What is a good thing? What is a bad thing? What causes great loss in the world? What people's dreams of other individuals, maybe even your own, cause loss to the overall continuance and existence of the dreams, the dreamers, and the good home-cooked meal, and the individual sitting to eat them? What it would be called a false good would be something that wasn't of the continuance, wasn't of the good cooked meal, wasn't shared, created loss for another, took from creation, created what would be considered a false good? What things in your mind? What takes from life? What takes from creation? What takes from the gifts that are given by others, their works, their share? Which ones are good? Which ones are false good? Is being aggressive and going after your dream a false good? Telling the truth as you know it, is that a false good? Because that's the truth. And what's the truth? Is that good or bad? The truth is really just the truth, the facts of the matter. Nothing more. What else would the truth be? Think about it. What is the truth? It's something that hasn't been proven wrong, or cannot be proven wrong, actually. Something proven to be right. But what if a mistake and an error was made at the beginning of the studies of that which you're trying to prove false or good or bad? So the start's important. Who started it and why? What was their objective? What was their intent? What is a false good? One whose intent includes the loss of choice, enslavement, gluttony, no. Loss of another's, all false goods. Wouldn't you say? And I strike at you, because you're creating such loss in your acts of false good. But what good things do you do? Do you share a meal? Do you buy a meal for another? Do you cook a meal and share it with another? Do you sit down and sharing company at the table? But what if you have loss of that company? What causes loss of all the individuals at the table at a family meal, at a friendship meal? They are the same. Because how many more friends could you have if there was more at the family meal? Right? Well, what causes great creation and continuance in life? Knowing of the truth, supporting the truth, planting a garden, one way, helping out your fellow man, helping them with the deeds and chores of their lives, helping them reach for their dreams. So what is a false good? Something that takes from any of those, right? If someone was to take from someone reaching for their dreams, would they be doing a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not going to say that I'm good. I'm not going to say that I'm bad. I'm saying I'm somewhere in the middle. Because some of the truths I speak can cause loss to many in influence. Why do I do this? For protection of a greater good. The good of the family meal. The continued existence of children to eat at my table. And fellow life forms to exist. But what do we lose when one takes and follows in a false good? If I were to follow in a false good, what loss would I be creating? But is that a false good? Because what does that create in loss? So which is which? Am I working for good or am I working for bad? I promote and I say, hey, here's the truth. It could cause, we could end this way, we could end that way. But we can prevent it by doing what? Truly, what prevents that loss? People going and being of the good works, being aids to the good works. Because truly you can only be an aid to good or a higher power. Because if you look to the skies, if you look up from laying on your back, how many things are above you? Well, there's a house, there's a tree, there's a ceiling, there's a sky full of stars and a sun. And how many pieces is that, all that goodness, all that continued growth? Is it good to have shelter? Yeah. What is loss of that? What is loss of all those things, the stars, and all those dreams and wishes upon them? For loss to one reaching for their stars. So that would be a false good if somebody were saying that it was good to do what to somebody? And what else? And what else? And what else? I mean, think about all the different things that people take there. Or maybe it's a false good to the creation of the family that sits at the table. What loss do we face there? From whom? Who's taking and creating such loss of those that sit at the family table at the feast at Christmas time? But who else benefited? Like a Cupid running through the air. Cupid. Would Cupid be a false good or a good? Does he sponsor the creation of children or not? The continuance of life and species. Now that's a good thing, in my opinion. Do you find that to be a good thing? But what is loss of all that? If we lose all that, where is the tales of old? Who will remember you? Who will remember those that are remembered now? Where will our industry come from? Where will our products? Where will all our creation? All lost from loss of the family table. Who would be there to buy them as well? Well, what is a good? And what is a false good? Is that a false good or a good? When such loss is presented to one to the table in which you eat at Christmas time, at Thanksgiving, at holidays, or family get-togethers. Is family good? Well, some families are good, some families are bad, but overall, is family good? Yes, because what family comes next from the children born? A new family. Continuance. Is that continuance? Continued existence of? Family. Are you part of a family? Did you come from a family? Did you come from a man and a woman? There's the continuance of not just the stars, not plants and growth and life, but the very continuance of me and you, if you be a human. If you be of man and womankind, which is a good thing, family. Loss of it would be a false good, wouldn't it? So what is true and what is not true of good and false good? On one side there's the good, and on one side there's the bad. Which is true of it? Do you believe in following the false good? If you follow the false good, what acts are you actually doing for creation and the continuance? Are you following any false good? Because there's more than one. How many goods do there be? How many continuances? There's a continuance of dream. There's a continuance of life, family. For the animals, like man and woman, there's a continuance of plants, which bears fruit. If we rip them all up and tear them down, they no longer continue to grow and seed and populate the forest and the grounds that cover this earth. Why do we plant gardens? Why does a farmer have a harvest? To protect the continuance of life, the continuance of plants as well, because he continues the existence of that plant. Could man go without? Perhaps. But does it have to? Because it does share its continuance with us. Since creation did begin with a choice, long ago, if you look past, it had to begin with some choice of some individual who chose to choose choice and began with choice. How many choices, if you take of a choice, what loss to the continuance do we have? Unless that choice takes of the creators of choice, or the continuance of life in the birds, plants, trees, and don't forget of the animals that sit at the table, man and woman, and the rest of the animals too. So what is a false good? And what is a good in the world? Now that you understand a little bit about the continuance and growth, and I've asked you, what do you find to be a false good? What do you find to be a good that you sponsor and you aid in life? Think of it. I'll leave you with that to think about. Christopher David Clayton of the United Unified Belief.